Guys, they did it. I can't believe that I'm seeing another Jiro buff. It feels like I've been seeing buffs for this guy over and over again, but from what I'm hearing, this one seems to be relatively pretty strong. I mean, when you look at it, decrease minimum charge time from 11 to 18. So basically, that's 3 frames off of the time it'll take for the SIG to actually like activate, I guess, from when you press like the side SIG button. Side SIG scythe. So basically they made the visuals bigger, and then the overall threat coverage, they made that larger as well. So basically they made the visuals larger, and then with visuals being larger, then they had corresponding like hitbox increases pretty much. And that's the same thing for the down scythe as well. I looked at these, and I'm sure there's someone out there who has like actual comparisons already. But I think that is bigger than I'm realizing, because when I was looking in training room, I don't think it registered in my head actually like how important this is, how important of a change it is. So figure, you know what, this is a good excuse to make another Jiro video. I literally said I was gonna maybe play this guy for Parsec, and then I pretty much gave up on him like instantly after, because I did not like how the character felt still. So you know what, maybe we'll use this video to kind of gauge my interest again. And just so you guys know, I am running defense stance, because that's the stance I would imagine I run most of the time. I've tried running like strength stance before, right? Because that's what takes away dex, and on Jiro you don't need all that dex at all. So yeah, but the issue is it takes away strength from him, unfortunately, if you use defense stance. And you know what, that's whatever for the most part. I'd rather live a little bit longer. Plus you have scythe, a weapon, one of the few weapons actually that didn't get changed. I think the 3 weapons that didn't get changed, maybe I'm missing one. Sword got a nair buff, oddly enough. So that's another thing that I guess indirectly benefits Jiro. But you have sword getting buffed plus 1 to nair, so now base damage does 16. What else? Axe didn't see any changes at all, which I'm sure Axe mains are rejoicing, because, you know, I feel like people always have an outcry for Axe, even though, you know, it really isn't, it's not broken or anything. It's just really easy to play. I've always said this, and it does its job, I think, pretty well. Maybe aside from killing sometimes, I think that's like something people don't like, is the fact that you have to fall back on like side air a lot of the time, and so you can just be caught fishing for that move. Let's see it. I still don't like how Jiro SIGs work. I'll just be honest. I mean, or pretty much reiterate things I've said. I don't like how his kit still feels. I literally was talking with Sandstorm the other day, and we were just kind of talking like, oh, he was like, what do you think is going to come in the patch? And pretty much he mentioned, or we got to Jiro, and we literally said the exact same thing. The character just doesn't feel like fast like he should. Instead, he's hitting like an absolute truck, and I almost feel like it's hitting a point where they're maybe now starting to do the buffs that initially they should have, and I think that could be very very scary. And Jiro just he's one, like, I feel like if it's not this patch, he's one good patch away from becoming absolutely a menace to society. I mean, this character has received so many buffs, and I don't think this is the buff to put him over the edge, but it's getting so close to that point, because I don't think he's been nerfed in a long time. I mean, spear and, you know, sword literally just got a buff by all technicalities, and then you have like these SIGs that are just monstrous as is. If they just make them like less recovery time, I think you're going to be looking at possibly the best sword legend in the game. Hard to say as of now, though. Some other things that got changed. What was a bigger one? Orb got changed. I don't know how much it actually matters. I think it was recovery time on Dare, and then on the different variations of Dare, which I think is good, because, you know, people get pretty brain dead with that move. And then what is this guy doing? And then also, I think they nerfed the stun of Nair. I've never been a big orb player, but the thing is, it seems like this patch, if a lot of the moves feel still good to use and good to throw out, right, then it doesn't matter. And I think that's the case for, say, orb still. I'm not 100% sure, but overall, the kit's still the same. It's still going to feel good to use, and I think that's all that really matters. because then you have a weapon like Spear on the other hand, which got absolutely mauled when it came to the side air. Side air, we gotta be real, that move was broken, you know. I play a lot of Spear, especially in doubles. Such a broken move. The fact they nerfed it to this degree, I'm a little surprised. I thought they would nerf like the hitboxing, but with that being said, they also did like some recovery time as well, and so, you know, I'm not like too upset about it. More than anything, Spear players are just gonna have to get over the fact and accept that, you know, the move was like insanely broken, and that's the only reason. Like you shouldn't have been able to do this stuff with it in the first place. Like the hitboxing shouldn't have existed like that to begin with, and then also you shouldn't have been able to just throw out that many Sayers. It is, you know, probably was the best move on Spear. It still combos into Endlight, so, you know, they didn't remove that or anything, which I don't think is really that big of a deal, that existing. But then also they nerfed D-Light. I think they just hit Spear right where it hurts. They hit it in D-Light, which you can't really punish on miss, and then on side air as well, a move that can be very troubling to punish at times. Now you have like all the time in the world to punish it. At the very least, the Spear player is heavily discouraged from using it, so that'll be definitely interesting to see. Also, this new LoFi skin is kind of sick, I gotta be honest. The new skins are really good. I wonder who made them. I wonder which illustrator they're making them. Oh wow, okay. I forget. I actually think there was some change to LoFi. I know Katara's got hit as well. It seems like everything, if they were gonna hit stuff, it was mainly in stun and then fixed recovery frames. So basically, like sidelight on Katars now takes a little longer. Like after miss, you can't just like throw out another move, which I can appreciate a little bit. It's not a ton more time, because especially if you get the hit, you know, nothing's gonna change. You're not losing anything. It's only if you already missed. Also, I don't know what this play is that we're doing here, but it's I gotta be honest, it's kind of annoying because I'm trying to talk and he's just dancing around me like a little monkey. All right, that move. I just don't understand the direction they decided to take Jiro at all with the SIGs. Like the SIGs are they're so cool, but they just need to make it to where like you don't fully commit with those sorts of SIGs, right? Like the end SIG on sword. I don't like that. Just have them pop up in the air, reduce the force, and then you got yourself a legend that makes sense and I think is also fun to play, right? Because he has those fast SIGs. But yeah, moving on though, Bo got some nerfs to Nair, to Endlight. It got nerfs as well. I think Bo though is still gonna be like a top tier weapon. Oh, I could have killed him off that if I did there. Yeah, it's gonna be a top tier weapon mainly for the fact that I think most of the moves still feel good to use. I think the stun time being hit is probably the biggest concern. Also, this guy never dodged, and he's gonna die for it. But yeah, you can't do like Endlight to Nair anymore on like 6 decks or higher. I think that's when it was true. I tried it. You can't. It's now 2 frames. So, you know, that's gone. I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. It's more so, like I was saying earlier, it just depends. Like, if the weapon still feels good to you to use, then I think that's what's most important, right? Everything else will follow. But if you're like trying to throw out certain moves and you just feel stuck, then I think it's in your best interest to probably swap off. And that brings me to say, they didn't change guns at all and axe, and I'm curious as to where those fall right now. I think this puts Scythe in particular, or well, Scythe too, but I think this puts Scythe in a very good spot. That weapon, or this weapon already is, it's so good, but now that you're seeing nerfs to stuff around it, and, you know, Scythe doesn't have any, like, big combos or anything, but the damage, the reward is just so good. And it's relatively low risk, too, on a lot of the moves. I mean, something like D-Light especially, I think is pretty free to throw out. You know, Nair, Sair, like, all the aerials are pretty free to throw out. And it feels good to use, right? They did Gauntlets a little dirty to where they nerfed D-Light. And so I already think D-Light's the best combo starter in the game, right? Because you have the 3-piece, which still exists. But also, I feel like what they did was not the play. Okay, I want to say not the play, but what they did was made the best combo starter. I mean, it's justified, right? I guess. It just feels like I already hated missing Gauntlet D-Light because I felt like I was going to get punished. Like, I feel like Gauntlet D-Light was one of the moves you could throw out, and it felt like you were going to get punished a decent amount of the time. Now, I don't know necessarily, like, how reliable it is, or, like, what the incentive's there to go for the 3-piece. Kind of losing my train of thought, but the incentive's there to go for the 3-piece, right? But also, it's kind of questionable, like, because if you miss it, you're gonna get punished. I feel like that more than ever. Now, it is day one thoughts, and I've never been the biggest and best user of Gauntlet D-Light. Now, someone like, you know, Sandstorm, who is super consistent with D-Light Nair, it probably doesn't really matter to him much because he already chooses his spots carefully. But if you don't have that mastery of the move or the weapon in general, then it's gonna be a little more annoying. Now, Gauntlets, they still have all the combos, so in reality, nerfing just D-Light, it doesn't really change Gauntlets too much. It just can maybe discourage some people like myself who aren't as fluent in the combo. But let's see if we can get a Gimp with this guy. This is another thing. Scythe, bro. Scythe, when it comes to the Gimps, oh, it's just different. It really is. I mean, you don't even have to be... That's the thing with Scythe. I feel like people always have this idea you have to be crazy good with Scythe. You just have to have a knowledge on a couple of the moves, know what string to do here or there, and you can get so much value out of it. Clearly, like I'm doing now. Just getting that clash right there. What other weapons was I talking about? Guns. Yeah, guns no change. And axe no change. I think now is a great time to play a Blaster's character with all the stuff around it getting nerfed. I think what people should do, I don't know what that guy was aiming for. I think people should look into characters like Nyx. And by people, I mean me. I've always had a spot for Blasters. And then also, I think that Scythe not receiving any changes either. It just makes, like, Nyx is just it's gonna be a character that feels good to play because there hasn't been any big changes, right? That's what it all goes back to. Barraza even, like, he's gonna feel better to play because there weren't any, like, recovery nerfs. There weren't any, like, recovery frame nerfs to his character. There weren't any cooldown changes, hitbox changes to axe or guns. So it's the same thing, and they're gonna just feel better because now there isn't a move that you're gonna throw out and you're gonna feel stuck for a couple frames. You're gonna just feel... It's going to feel more natural, I guess is the right word. I also just had a realization. I knew I was forgetting one weapon. They didn't actually... Thanks, guy. They didn't actually nerf Cannon, which, you know what? For now, I'm not going to say anything. Cannon wasn't, like, a super broken or super out there weapon. So to me, it's kind of whatever. I think Cannon definitely has some nerfable qualities, we'll call them. Okay. Okay, well, that would have been crazy if he hit it, but instead, now he just gets to look like a fool in my YouTube video. All good. You know, I'm not mad or anything. That guy almost quit me. But anyways, what was I saying? Cannon. Yeah, I'm cool with it being how it is. You know, Cannon's Cannon right now. I think that means... Who has Cannon that you could use? Sidra? Dude, Sidra's still out there. I tried playing Sidra, and I never really... I mean, but that was also when Cannon was, like, mega broken. So we'll see. I think, though, Sidra is just, like... I think Sidra is just waiting for someone... Oh, wow. Waiting for, like, someone to just pick her up and do crazy with. Sandstorm and the Ninja are probably the ones that did the best with her. Oh, wow. Okay, I just realized something with that. You saw how that guy woke up with Sidelight? I was able to get my side sig out before he even before, like, he was able to get his wake up off his axe sidelight. My side sig beat out his axe sidelight is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I just that didn't make any... If that didn't make any sense, my words seem to be, like, failing to come out of my mouth. But yeah, that is clearly the difference in the change that they've put out. Like, previous patch, that wouldn't have worked like that. But now, thanks to the change, it It definitely does. You know what? Oh my gosh, I want to try and clip him. No! And now I look like a fool in my own YouTube video. SDing. Happens, I guess. You know, it's just an even playing ground, right? Alright. Okay. He didn't opt to dodge. Guys, I think I'm going to call it there. I don't really have anything else to say, and I don't think even if I did, I could form the words right now. I was struggling that last game to speak in any capacity, but I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think about the, the state of the balance, what you wish you would have seen change and stuff, because I think this was an overall all right patch. Again, day one thoughts, but I mean, at least the skins are cool, right? Okay, peace everyone.